Good morning, people. What's happening? It's your man Joshua Pondexter. What time is it? 11:02. We're normally do this Wednesday thing at 12 noon Central Standard Time. We're gonna go ahead and come to you a little early because we got some things that got backed up on the calendar today. So listen, topic we're talking about this morning: a prenup versus a trust. Right? There's a lot of noise on the internet, just in general about prenuptial agreements, right? And of course, since we're talking about prenuptial agreement, that leads us into the institution of marriage, and um, then we're gonna talk about a trust where it can work in the institution of marriage, or you don't have to be married to get a trust, right? So prenups, prenuptial agreements are something that two people will enter into if they consider getting married. So is it a good idea? Well, the problem with marriage in America today is that it's no longer under the auspices of the church or under the auspices of God. God created the institution. Man has hijacked it, and we see the results of it been hijacked by man. First time marriages end in 50% of the cases end in divorce. Second marriages, 60%. Third marriage, 73%, and on. Just get worse, right? Because one of the reasons is that it is a legal contractual agreement. So people are thinking, well, maybe I should get a prenup to protect myself. Okay. Yeah, well, maybe. Okay. That could work, but here's the deal. You're already in the legal system with your marriage. In order for you to deal with your spouse in a conflict, you got to go to the courts, right? When you got a conflict that you cannot resolve, you got to go to the courts, such as a divorce, a custody case, or things of that nature, right? So you're already there. So if you write a prenuptial agreement, it's a legal contract, and it can be disputed in the court system, right? So, do you really want a prenuptial agreement, right? Do you really want to? You already get married, wonderful, beautiful, congratulations, pop the champagne, go on the honeymoon, all that good stuff. But understand that marriage in the West, specifically in the United States of America, is under the auspices of the legal system, right? So you have the legal system, you have the man, the woman on this side, you have a little line between them and God, right? So that little line between them and God is dotted. Those other lines that goes to the state are fixed lines, right? And so if you have a conflict in this marital union, God can't even help you no more in America. You got to go to the state, right? So, with that being said, but if that is the case, which it is, why would you write another legal contract that can be disputed in court? That's going to cost you more money, more time, things of that nature, right? So. And then if you're going to marry a gentleman or you're going to marry a young lady and you get to talking about prenuptial agreements, it's a very distasteful subject. People don't like it. It's needed. Don't mean I don't trust you. Don't mean that you don't trust me. It just means that I need to protect myself. So let's see where we are in life. So you're young, in your 20s, and you decide to get married, and you don't have any assets, should you get a prenuptial agreement? Just depend, right? You're going to graduate and get out of medical school, and you might want to protect yourself, right? You're going to, be high-paid attorney or an engineer and design something, you might want to, a designer, you might want to protect yourself, right? So it just depends, okay? But as you move on in life, in America, we have divorce, remarriage, and divorce again, right? And so these things take assets away that could be going to your heirs. Because a lot of times in your second marriage, you might not be in the children baby making phase, and you already had your babies, both of you guys, and boom, do you want all your stuff to go to the spouse, right? And their children and their family, right? So these are the things where, some type of contract needs to be structured. Okay. So now let's look at a trust, right? So trust, you don't need the other person agreement. You don't have to stick no paper in their face and go sign this prenuptial agreement. Or the trust, you can take your assets, you can create a trust, you can put your house, your businesses, your cars, your stocks, your bonds, all your investment property, you can put all that in your trust. So you no longer own it, the trust own it. And so when you enter into a relationship with someone, you go like, hey, listen, this is how I manage my financial affairs, right? My financial affairs are managed from the perspective that everything is ran through my trust. My trust runs everything. So what I can't pay for in my trust, my food, my fun, my clothing, things of that nature. Hey, this is what I have, right? So there's no argument, no bickering, and then you go like, hey, honey, if you want to set up you a trust for your assets that you have, you can put them in there. Make sure they go to your children, right? So there's no bickering, things of that nature, right? Boom. Now you some old folks, right? I've been dealing with old folks that wait till they're in their 60s and then they want to get married again. And then they talking about prenuptial agreements, right? All right, that's fine. You protecting your stuff for your heirs, but you're not protected against Medicaid spend down, right? So now you think, okay, one of the spouse got $2 million of assets, one of them got $200,000 of asset, right? One of the spouse, right, the one that doesn't have all the assets, have to go to the nursing home. Now Medicaid is going to count your stuff because you're married to them. So that prenup will not protect you, right? So that's where the trust comes in, right? So that's trust work, right? So these are the things you have to really think about. Prenup, significant weaknesses, because number one, it's a legal contract, written by an attorney, got to pay for that one attorney, and then the other person has to get an attorney to write up another one. And of course, all of that can be contested in the courts, right? Trust held private property is a confidential and private matter. If you don't want to expose to your spouse what you have, hey, this is my stuff in my trust. I take enough money out to take care of myself and possibly you, depending on how old we are. Nobody taking care of no old people. Ain't no, come on now. So just depends. So listen, prenup or trust. I would submit to you that the trust is better, right? I've been recommending this to our clients for over 20 years because I thought in my imagination and my estimation was that a prenup was kind of insulting, right? You don't have to insult the person or make them feel that they're being insulted, right? I already got myself protected over my trust. I already have my heirs lined out. And if you stay in the marriage, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and I have more assets, I can start to put some percentages that will go to you, right? Or if you have more access, and like this guy was faithful to me, can add a little bit more stuff for him, but the bulk of the estate goes to my bloodline, right? Prenup versus trust. You don't, when you write a trust, you don't need anyone else approval, right? You don't need a potential spouse approval, right? None of that, right? Even if you're married and you have business assets and things of that nature, you want to put it into your own personal trust, right? Those assets are yours, right? They're not marital assets because you had them before you got married, and you kept them separate, and you want to put them in trust. You can do that too. You don't need anyone's approval, right? So prenups, I'd see them, these little 90-day fiance shows. People asking for prenups on there, and whatever. Yeah. So very difficult subject. Kind of like messed the whole honeymoon up talking about a prenup, but you got your stuff in trust. And they said, my dear, this is how I operate my financial realities, right? It's all in trust. It's already been earmarked to where it's going, right? I can make some changes if I see fit to make sure that you are taken care of, and we will do that, right? Make sense? Prenup versus trust. Come on, don't be insulting to your partner. Talking about signing this prenup, you don't even have to do it. Create a trust, all right? And everything is all fine. Plus, as you get older, your late 60s, 10, 15 years from now, you might be facing Medicaid spend down. That prenup will not save your assets, right? Because you use the community spouse, the custodial spouse, and they're going to count your stuff up, right? State of Illinois, you can only maintain $132,000 to yourself, right? And Medicaid wants the rest for you to spend, right? So that means that $2 million that you had over there before you married him or her, the state wants that money. So think it through. JoshuaPondexter.com. Can avail yourself of an estate planning consultation. We spend about 50 minutes with you. We'll get you straight. All right. Peace, love, and soul. Bye for now.